Time to push it. It takes some time for hate. Never take a second of bullshit. Make them come at you straight. Somebody will catch you running, coming from a vegetable fate. Everybody has a purpose, something that can deviate. Feed the adrenaline. Keep coming back again. Till the end, I'm turning venomous. Feed me adrenaline. Lately I can see the colors changing my invisible face. I can feel you hold me under. Nobody can feel the play. Coming just a little closer. Let me feel the breath on me. I'll tie you up for the reason. You're someone I will always need. Feed me adrenaline. Keep coming back again. Feed me until the end. I'm turning venomous. Feed me adrenaline. uncontrolled breathing. I can't just fix this. There's something else I'm fixing. Love is never easy to love again. To find your reasons to pretend. Counter-terrorists win.
And it seems like we are live. CS greetings, CS goes. How you doing, Prof?
I am doing very, very, very well, thank you.
Very, very, very well. Jeez. I feel like you're lying. You didn't sound this perky before we started.
I guess just yes, gets the blood flowing.
Indeed it does. I love doing this even if it is to two people. I don't mind. I just want to cast, man. All the time, every day, all day, till my voice goes away.
I mean, maybe that's not such a great idea, but certainly will be fun.
Indeed, indeed. Okay, well, you guys joined us for ESEA Main. This is out of Europe, of course, so it's a little different to what we usually do out of South Africa. And we were doing some of it last week as well, so we don't necessarily know all of the teams that well, but we've tried to pick some games that should be pretty fun to cover. And the other detail that's pretty interesting is this is coming to you off a laptop tonight, which I'm quite interested to see how this thing holds up. MSI were very kind to lend me a gaming laptop to give a shot, and it's not even the very highest spec, so I'm kind of surprised it's actually working at all, to be honest. So, Prof, is it going to explode and burst into flames?
Probably.
Whoa.
As long as it's spectacular, I think we'll be okay.
I got my cell phone here close by. Of course, the cell phone is a way of saying I have my camera here by me. So if anything does happen, it'll be wonderful RGB explosions, because there's like all sorts of RGB going on in the keyboard, yeah.
And then you should definitely let GMAX know about that.
Indeed, I shall. So, Mr. Sol, thank you for joining us. You say your grade 8 is coming to your room soon, and you want me to say hi. So is this some poor person that you're abusing who you happen to be in a higher grade in high school then? I would imagine this is the case. What do you think, Prof?
Yeah, I would assume he's probably a boarder at school, and his grade 8 is... well, at my school they used to call it a skippy. But it's actually the generation of the word stig from Top Gear as well. That's what they used to call their 8th graders.
Oh, okay. That's interesting to know. Catching a little bit of a robot voice. If it continues, I'll ask you to reset. But for now, it seems okay. So we've got Euronics Gaming out of Germany and Team Endpoint out of Britain. Team Endpoint somewhere towards the middle of the leaderboard, of the log, so to speak. Euronics Gaming towards the top. What do you expect?
Well, I mean, Euronics has actually played a game of Nuke. They did pretty well. They won, I believe it was 16-1 against the Wild Rams. Now, I have no context as to how good Wild Rams is, but getting 16-1 probably isn't the best it looks for them. For Team Endpoint, they have also played a game in Nuke, lost 16-14. So both teams have played. But unfortunately, I know absolutely nothing about their opponents. So, given how things have gone, I think Euronics Gaming probably is better set to do well in this game than Team Endpoint. As who actually is going to win that? It does look as though Euronics Gaming will do well enough in the knife round to actually get themselves to a win in the... Well, I mean, they'll start on the CT side. Let's put it that way.
Indeed, so he's confirming for us he's in grade 12, it's a border house, and they call their stigs snakes.
Snakes.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
So Kievi would fit right in, I take it.
Whoa, that's a low blow. I love it though. That was wonderful. So Euronics Gaming versus Team Endpoint here on Nuke. I'm not looking forward to observing this, but hey, we'll do what we can do. And it's a CT side here for ESG, the guys from Germany starting out on the favored side of this map. And the terrorists going into the bomb site here on A side, finding the early pick. They're also going to get the guy on rafters as well, and the guy up at the top. Look at this, Weber just going crazy there. Aaron getting the last kill as well. Fantastic entry, and everybody's dead before I could even hand it to you.
Yep, it is pretty much... I mean, you don't often see the upper rush on the pistol round outside of MM, but it does work pretty damn well this time. So Endpoint off to the perfect start here on what is probably the hardest T side in the game. Although saying that, CT side is no joke either.
Indeed, that is true. Do you think the changes to the map have shifted the balance at all in any way?
I think it's probably simpler for the CTs. Like there's less gimmicky plays that can be made now. You can't just run along the outside. It's easier to defend the bomb sites as the Ts now. But I do think it makes it, defending a bomb site as a T does actually make it also easier for the CT because the T actually has to get onto the site. So, I mean, look, people often used to say that like this map was basically just an auto win for whoever started on the CT side. Yeah, if your CT side was good. Like it's not an easy CT side to play because the rotations can actually screw you around pretty badly, and I think losing CT players here makes a huge difference in comparison to other maps where it's much more difficult to actually cover certain spots with fewer people. So I mean, in general, you will still probably come out ahead, but you have to have a huge CT side in order to get off to the best possible start here. And Team Endpoint, while they're dropping nades, they're actually going to get crispy as well. Weber has taken a bit of damage. And Team Endpoint well set to start off their second round here. Damage being done, though, by the scout out of Merbit.
Indeed. Hey, Abuse, good to see you in chat, man. Lots of damage being dealt here, and the scout can actually find a couple of kills here if he can land a couple more shots. But despite that, there's still one more alive for Team Endpoint, and that's still a slight advantage for them. Again, more damage being dealt here, and they seem very intent on roaming around outside. A very unconventional thing to do so far. Trades coming in here, and we're going to see a 4v2 all of a sudden. ESG just with 2 players left with the Deagles. We got
this is slightly dangerous here for Team Endpoint. A lot of players on low HP that could actually go down to a decently placed Deagle shot, but good teamwork there from Endpoint.
Works out in the end, thankfully. So Euronics Gaming losing another one there to Team Endpoint, 2-0 so far. It's going to be the eco here from the German side. And let's see what they're able to do when we do come into the bye. In the meantime, of course, the point that you were making there about how it used to be a map where people said if you started CT side, it's an auto win. I think with this map, it's one of those maps where you have to remind yourself if you have a bad start as terrorists, even if you lose 10 rounds. You're going to go to CT side, so it doesn't actually matter. Don't get down on yourself because you're going to have an opportunity to do pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, even if you only get 40 rounds, like you're still probably better off than a lot of teams. So Pulse is going to start off well. He's going to get KZY. Does he get the second? He does indeed. That'll be crispy going down. Aaron picks up Faven at the same time, and Euronics down to 2 players in a 5-on-2 lead of 3. As Pulse, he's on 2 HP. And Team Endpoint is on 2-0. And Mighty Max has removed Preci's face. So Merbit is going to try win this duel with probably the most difficult weapon in the game. Does have himself a Zeus, but gets doubled up.
I wanted to see the Zeus.
Yeah, it was never happening.
Yeah. I watched too much of Hunyanyanye, the French YouTuber and Twitch streamer. The dude is a Zeus master. Somehow gets all these crazy kills with it. But let's see if Euronics Gaming here, the Germans, on the German map, come back now that we're on the buy run. No AWP for them, of course, and limited utility.
This isn't a German map. What are you talking about? You're talking about Overpass, you're talking German.
It used to be German.
Now it's American.
I don't care. So in my heart, it's German.
Taking the most interesting method down to secret. He's going to get himself the first kill, but does take himself quite a bit of damage as well. He's going to have multiple angles to fight, and he's got multiple friends. KZY and Crispy cleaning up the side of Endpoint at the moment. The Brits not looking so great at this point, and somehow KZY, despite the most crazy method of getting to secret, has somehow survived. Aaron, though, and Weber will start things off well. And Aaron continues his ways, reaping a second player there. It's a 2-on-2 all of a sudden for Euronics, and this is where things get very, very tricky for a CT side. You've got to take a huge gamble now to basically bet on a single site. Using single site, one player to each site is often not the best idea on Nuke.
Indeed, 2v2. Brits versus the Germans. It's the Battle of Britain all over again, except it's happening in America, not Germany. I mean, Britain. Of course, nobody's going to notice that. People don't know the history that well, do they?
We never know.
So,
depends where you're coming from.
Weber here, managing to sneak his way over towards heaven. Perhaps he can catch off Merbit depending on where Merbit's looking, but Merbit does seem to be aware that he could be coming from there. And 30 seconds on the clock. This could get dicey depending on who finds the correct timing here. Of course, it's Nuke. And oh, perfect timing there. Perfect headshot. He's going to follow it up, does Merbit. And there's a round for the Germans.
Fantastic there by Merbit as Fate, I think. Well, maybe Fate, bit of luck. Turns the right moment and shoots Endpoint in the face twice in a row. And Team Euronics picks up their first round. Now, there's a lot of bank to get through here on Team Endpoint. They could feasibly buy into the next round as well. So Team Euronics has to make absolutely certain they get enough players through to the next round here. They cannot afford to have a one-on-one to win this round.
Yeah, definitely cannot. And the CT side from Euronics so far, only one buy round so far, of course, but their aim does seem to be on point. Let's see if they can start to rack up the rounds. And as I say, that's Costa's Curse, Pulse or X favor on the outside. We've got Aaron tapping away, hoping to find himself a headshot, and it looks like he will. Takes down Crispy. And this is tough stuff now for the CT side as another player goes down into the hands of Pulse, and Weber chiming into just all on Cressy, and he's not going to be long for this world.
No, not at all, as Lazar gets himself another kill as well. That'll be Cressy. That was just a series of WTF moments from Euronics Gaming CT side. Like, just repeated peaks. Why? I don't understand.
Jeez, I cursed them so hard there. They're just all we're doing silly things. Of course, that actually has nothing to do with what I said, but it did seem like, especially considering the weaponry, they needed to turtle a little bit and not be too aggressive early on, and going for those early peaks outside did them no favors. Yeah,
especially KZY at the entrance to mouth there. I mean, that was just crazy. Just like repeat. It's like you know that they're just probably going to push you at that point. You've lost both your outside players and you're the only one left. There's no way they're not going to peek you at that point. Double up here from ESG as the nade will go through, and that'll actually not do as much damage as I thought it might have, but Faven and Cressy get themselves to safety.
Yeah, on the force buy are Euronics Gaming. Not sure that was necessarily the wisest course of action. Again, considering this is a heavily CT favored map, they haven't started the best yet. In saying that, though, I think it was in the show match, the third, fourth place playoff for Star Series yesterday, where we saw a rather T-skewed Nuke for some reason, but that's also just probably because neither team particularly cared.
Yeah, well, Team Endpoints actually found their way into the Hell area underneath Evan. No guesses why. As Lazar, well, Cressy, that was actually pretty clever there, just rushing Mighty Max and taking him out as Weber. He's coming along, he's going to shoot KZY in the back. So at this point, Team Endpoint still favored. They do have themselves another kill. Weber is actually going to shoot Cressy in the face through that vent. But Crispy, he could be the big player here. Is he going to be? He gets the first kill, but Aaron is on hand to pick up the second. It is now Lazar and Aaron in a 2v1 against Merbit. Now, Merbit did get 2 kills on the round that Euronics won, but I don't see him winning this one very well. Just going to keep trying to sneak through that. There. Actually, a fantastic nade. And Merbit takes one too many chances, and Lazar removes his face.
That was playing whack-a-mole there. That was great. I don't know why I was doing that. I had to laugh a little bit at the deagle spam through the underside of the floor. You know.
Yeah.
That's quite presumptuous. Imagine it would have been funny had he gotten a kill there. The deagle does a pretty high bullet penetration, so maybe, you never know. But for now, after looking promising there, Euronics Gaming concede another one to Team Endpoint, and the Brits so far looking better. And we did expect Euronics to do better, yeah, but maybe Nuke just ain't their map.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're 161, but we obviously have no idea of how good these opponents are in context. So Wild Rams clearly not as good as Team Endpoint at this moment. Team Endpoint might have played a much tougher game despite losing 16-14. So how do the Brits do? They're looking pretty solid at the moment. They've got a huge bank behind them, and Euronics 1 for 5. Definitely not where you want to be as a nuke team, and especially not a CT nuke team. And things should be going very south for them soon, as they do have only the USPs and a deagle, and that deagle is probably not long for this world. KZY probably going to be taking a rather ill-advised peek sometime soon.
Indeed, that's
Profeci?
probably the course of action that's going to happen there. Profeci's been one of those guys who's the wide peak master, just keeps doing it repeatedly. And that wasn't there that he died, but it's just interesting as you were mentioning with the ridiculous repeaks. Him and KZY seem to be the specialists in that sort of field. Let's hope that they don't do it again now that KZY's got the AWP.
Yeah, I mean, do we see a Michael or a Draken?
Let's hope so. Euronics Gaming needs something to get some rounds on the board, yeah. So let's see if they're able to pile something up. Meanwhile, Team Endpoint starting to rack up the money and rack up the kills as well. Looking pretty good there.
Endpoint, I mean, they don't have an AWP, which is, I mean, fairly standard for T-side nuke, and nobody's going to be watching above them. Profeci picks up 2 easy kills. Faven and Crisby complete the set, and that will be the easiest of easy rounds there for Euronics Gaming. Somehow Team Endpoint just tried a sneaky tactic, walking out uppers. I mean, I think you can throw one of those in on occasion, but that definitely didn't work out. So they win this round. I think they will be absolutely set for the rest of the half. As it is, I think they've gotten off to a fantastic start. Should have enough money for at least the next 2 rounds as well. Team Endpoint in a fantastic situation despite losing that last round.
Yeah, thankfully for Euronics Gaming, they were able to keep all 5 alive, which is going to benefit their money at least and give them another buy should they lose this round. 'Cause usually now, if you win one round, you're in within touching distance of a reset, but they should be fairly safe from that here. It's just, again, going to depend on how this round goes, because that previous rush was just kind of aimless after Team Endpoint have looked fairly on point so far.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just odd. I mean, I'm not completely opposed to trying that strategy, but it's something you try maybe once. If it doesn't work, you don't go back to it. Like it's not a viable solution. But actually get himself Weber, and Faven now rotates in, picks up Laza, and all of a sudden Euronics Gaming down to 3 members. They can still probably win the round if they hit some nutty shots. As Auto Director is going to take me away from the player moving in. Pulse though is going to push up. He's going to kill KZY. All of a sudden, Euronics Gaming down to 4 now. As we said, this could change rapidly. This is a map that lends itself to fairly important opening kills. Is Cressy? It's not looking at it. Okay.
Interesting. Okay. Caught each other there a little bit. Aaron goes down. He's been pretty dangerous so far. So, wow, Pulse should not have gotten that kill, but gets it anyway. Casual little headshot there. Cressy now set up to potentially stop him, and he gets the wall bang. I'm wondering when that sort of thing's going to happen on this map with the window gone, and it works out perfectly.
Yeah, fantastically well played there. But yeah, Cressy, that was an interesting peek at the vent.
Yeah, it was sort of the two blind men bumping into each other in the dark there, but it worked out in the end. So 6-3, Euronics Gaming piling on another Team Endpoint, still with a great start, but Euronics now on the comeback trail. And what is again is a relatively CT-sided map, traditionally speaking.
Yeah, and Euronics will be very, very happy that they haven't lost many players in the last couple of rounds. Crisby should be getting... Oh, it's Duck Hunt. Does he get enough? No, he's yet to get it out. Faven with an extremely long-range spray does get the 1 kill. So that's a fantastic start there, as Mighty Max is now going to pick up the first AWP that Endpoint has purchased. And Faven...
Jeez, he's a spray god.
Sexy long-range spray. KZY will get Aaron and Weber. He's the last member remaining for the British side. As Cressy and friends, well, KZY, let's say that.
I don't like to pronounce that somebody's a god, but looking at those sprays from Faven, I mean, those are very long-range sprays. You need to know your spray patterns to be able to drag it down like that.
Yeah, and definitely something that I think Zeus could learn a little bit of.
Yeah, all sorts of things you could learn. T-sides as well, maybe? I don't know.
T-sides, aim, spray.
We're being rather harsh. I don't think either of us were super impressed watching the Starladders final yesterday with what Zeus was getting up to. Crisby going to stop what Weber's getting up to there. Takes him down pretty easily. And there to back up his teammate as he goes down. Aaron been looking good so far, but he is traded off. And there's Mighty Max coming in with a kill, but that still puts them in a numbers deficit here. 3 versus 2. They do manage to pick up the 1 weapon here.
Oh.
Oof, that was rather close. He should take him down, does Murbit. That's all on Mighty Max.
clearly not so mighty as he does go down. Mert picking him up, and Euronics, it's a very good recovery in the last 4 rounds as they pick up 4 in a row. Team Endpoint Bank is back after that save on the previous round, but it does look as though they're starting to run out of steam. Euronics Gaming clearly seems to have picked things up, and a double AWP on CT side nuke.
That's unusual.
Is brave. That is very, very brave. I mean, this is often called the map that, it's like the map of death for AWPers. Even Kenny S and Guardian have never been able to figure out this map to, a huge degree. So Crispy, pretty cheeky. It was spotted. Okay.
Look at that. There's the trade coming in from Pulse. So it's 3v3 at the moment. Pick up the AWP, does Pulse. Looking towards heaven and hell, hoping to find something there. Timing just slightly off. Faven's there, as he has always been in the last few rounds, gets the kill. Yeah,
Faven with that long-range aim is very, very good, actually. It's surprising. You don't often see a rifler sitting up in the heaven area, especially not if he's going to be aiming outside primarily. I mean, that was something that Forrest famously did with his just absolutely insane aims, that he could, hit 1 or 2 headshots at extreme range from the heaven area.
Weber.
And talking about extreme aim, Weber doing huge work here to open up the A side for Euronics Gaming. Now, they don't have control of the heaven area. Merbit is up here, but he does have an AWP. That's really not what he needs. Does Weber have enough? He does indeed. 3 kills for Weber and another win for Team Endpoint. Damage has been done to the Euronics Gaming economy. They should still be able to buy here, but it's not going to be perfect. And unfortunately, Team Endpoint are on the verge of a half win as the T side on Nuke. Who would have thought one could say that?
That is crazy stuff. Talking about crazy stuff, we've got Easy Studios, Mr. Siegel, Clarence in the chat. And he says Zeus, Simple stole all his kills, Kappa.
Is it?
Exactly, yes.
The Simple steals his kills. I mean, I did love Siegel's tweet today when he said he got 41-24 in a map once. He won.
That's quite baller to say. And what's also baller, interestingly enough, is that this is being streamed off a gaming laptop instead of my desktop. So tell me if you can tell any difference, guys.
KZY should be getting Mighty Max. Is Mighty Max? Well, somehow KZY makes a jump. Okay. I have no idea why you jump at that point. Give yourself a huge target. Faven flies in with the drive-by. Pulse is going to go down. It's all up to Merbit and Faven. As Aaron is going to molly it out, but Merbit more than up to the task. Double taps Aaron in the face. Mighty Max trying to take a fight at range here. He does in fact win it, but Cressy is along for the ride. Mighty Max will be removed from the party. It is now all up to Weber. He did get some very, very impressive kills in the last round. Faven is about to meet him in the vents and quickly escort him out as Weber takes a bullet to the face. And Euronics Gaming 6-7. They turn it around, and Endpoint, well, it's not looking good towards the end of the half here in terms of their money. Rounds fantastic, cash, dollar not so great.
Indeed, what is rather great is this MSI laptop. I'm actually just astounded. I have everything ready to go to switch back to my desktop if it goes tits up, and it's tits are firmly down right now.
Can I confirm sellout or?
Yes.
Oh, KZY.
It's just a loner, don't worry. It's but KZY doing some amazing work there. That's definitely his M4, not a loner. He's doing some great work with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's making Team Endpoint pay with their lives, unfortunately, so they can't sell out much more than that. As Mighty Max, he's got himself a deagle. Just taking wild shots, not really aiming to hit anything. As Pulse and Aaron, they're going to try to push the ramp area here. As Merbit, he's actually done fairly well in this first half. He's going to get himself find himself a party of friends. Not really ones that he wants to hang out with, as he does decide to back out very, very quickly, and that's probably the best way to play the ramp area. You don't necessarily need to get a kill, just make certain that you just delay the opposing team. As Mighty Max and KZY are going to have a long-range deal. KZY wins that one once again. KZY on low HP and Merbit. Well, I mean, he's left the party, comes back late, and all of a sudden knocks the last guy out. So, sneaky young man, and it will benefit him pretty largely, as it is the final round now. Euronics Gaming 7-7, and it has been quite the recovery.
Indeed, quite the recovery. Also quite the round there previously from KZY with the rifle. He's the AWPer for the team. It gets himself 4K with the M4. And for you, Ghost Gamer, what's up, man? Good to see you here. What's going on is some ESEA Main out of Europe. Got the Germans versus the English. Euronics Gaming versus Team Endpoint. 7-all at the moment. Aaron catching KZY out there. So the hero of the previous round is dead.
Oh, that's a sexy splash. Unfortunately, he's not able to finish it up with a sexy spray, as only gets one in the end. As Aaron is going to push through here. He does have assistance, and that will be favored. No assistance from him. Profeci needs to get more than one, will only get one. And Merbit, he's going to push through. Does his timing work out? It's not going to work out, as Luz has more than enough seconds to pull out that AK and shoot him into the ground. And Team Endpoint, 8-7. That is a wonderful way to start the half as CTs. And Euronics Gaming, well, it seems they're 16-1 earlier this season. Not quite as good as we thought.
Clearly so, and that's one for the books. A T-side winning on Nuke. I mean, Nuke is basically a synonym for CT when one goes back historically in Counter-Strike. So, interesting to see. The players I've been impressed with so far, Weber on entry for Team Endpoint. He's looked really good with those AK first bullet shots. You know, they're just the taps. He's walking in doing the apex. And on the other side, the spray control out of Faven. Just amazing stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately, Faven doesn't really have a lot of support. The rest of Euronics, especially KZY, like, they sit in such aggressive angles, and often it just seems like they're giving away a lot of kills when Team Endpoint should have no business getting them. I mean, KZY, at least 3 rounds that I've seen where he takes either repeated peeks, or he peeks extremely wide, or he gets caught out in an area that's like, why is he there? So, I mean, it makes life easy for the Ts, and you definitely do not want that to be the case. As Mighty Max, he's going to be spotting outside. He's got himself Aaron and Pulse. This is actually a pretty good counter for the upper rush. ESG, though, not going to be running that. They're going to go outside. They're going to spot a number of players, and Mighty Max, he gets shot in the face. But this could actually work out very, very well here. Pulse will spot the first player. He's going to spot himself the second.
Fantastic work.
Yeah, that was actually fantastic indeed. As Euronics tried something clever, and unfortunately, Team Endpoint with something even more clever, as they countered that very, very well. I've never actually seen that. 3 players at mouth. As Cressy, last remaining player, does Pulse get him? He does indeed, and that'll be that. Team Endpoint 9-7. They win the second pistol, and all of a sudden, Euronics not looking so good.
Indeed, 9-7. And that kind of start is not what they needed. It looked fairly ideal at the beginning, but of course there at mouth, I always find those shadows can... As a T player, you don't usually realize just how much of the CT and mouth can see of you coming down because of those shadows. They get a lot of forewarning. It's not always advisable to drop down in that manner.
KZY, wide peek with a deagle. Is he going to land it? He's going to miss the first one, but they've actually pushed him right into Crosby's shots. Crosby's trying to take 2 fights. He's actually won the second one. Lazar on very, very low HP is going to get the first kill. Does he get the second? He does indeed. Fantastic play there from the British rifler as he takes out 2 of the German Euronics Gaming team.
That is interesting, of course, again, talking about the Germans versus the Brits. It's a classic clash from Counter-Strike source days. Just both of these countries haven't been that much of a force of late, except if you count God Dennis, of course.
No.
Yeah, I knew you would say that.
The man has his own subreddit. I think that says enough. Pulse is going to get himself Cressy, and it's all up to Merbit and KZY. KZY taking the widest peaks in existence.
Continuing that trend from the first half?
Yeah, just spamming with the scout. I mean, not really getting a whole lot of anything. They've got 40 seconds, so Euronics probably should be making a play. You do not want to die in this situation. Already not looking great in the money. And any further round losses to Endpoint put themselves in a dire situation when it comes to needing to make a comeback.
Going to be a tough one indeed. The 3 UMPs versus the Deagle and the Scout. And there is about to be a peekaboo here. And wow, he didn't notice him at first, but Merbit does go down in the end to Weber. Weber reacted kind of slowly to him. I think he was almost shocked at what happened there. Gets the other kill on KZY as well. That was a bit of a comedy moment there.
That was a bit of comedy, but I mean, Merbit, he should have been firing a lot quicker than that. I don't know if he wasn't looking at Weber, but it looked as though he came straight up and staring directly at Weber's face.
Do you think he was maybe thinking that Weber didn't see him because Weber didn't react to him at first?
I mean, surely you fire when you're that close, though. Like, you can't take that chance. The guy must be seeing you at that angle.
Indeed. So Just some pistols, yeah, no armor. Essentially an eco should be pretty easy and should get chewed up by the superior weaponry and armor here from Team Endpoint. Euronics Gaming shouldn't have a big chance, but of course you never say never when a man's got a deagle in his hands.
Yeah, deagle and a P250. So, well, 2 deagles and a P250. That certainly is more than enough to win a round of Counter-Strike these days. As Mervit is going to be the one just checking, spotting the angle, but they are all going to be going through the mouth, and just like that, they are being eaten alive.
Ooh.
Euronics Gaming down to 1. They will get the first kill, but Pulse with a very quick snap to KZY's head, and that will be that. Endpoint 11 to 7. They've completed the pistol round and its follow-ups, and now the first gun round. What does Euronics Gaming have in store for us? They looked like they had something interesting on the pistol round. Unfortunately, Team Endpoint knew exactly what they were planning. And right now, Euronics, they've got to get a move on. They've got to get a move on very, very quickly.
Definitely so. And for the German side, yeah, of course, they do have the 5 AKs. No AWP, though, which is, I don't think necessarily an issue on this map, but it's often more useful, ironically, on this map on T side than CT side for a lot of teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of it's dependent on timing, as Mighty Max is going to try to start things. He's going to throw out a molly. That's actually a fantastic molly. And Pulse comes around the corner and he absolutely eviscerates Euronics Gaming. It's a 1 versus 3. And that will be that. Team Endpoint once again, just seemingly in Euronics Gaming's head when it comes to stacking sites and playing correctly there. A wonderful setup by, I believe it was Weber, and Pulse just coming in, gunning them all down.
Making it look easy and through the fire and the flame, as you like to say, pulling out the Dragon Force thing.
Yeah. Actually, sorry, I do apologize. It was Mighty Max with that molly to cover the exit to the door. Lazza, he's got himself an AWP. Does he land the first shot? Spots him. Ball will come through. And he will, in fact, hit Mervit. Send him to the grave. Now, he doesn't have the angle on Faven. What on?
Jeez, what a reaction there. Gets the kill nonetheless. He even jumps as well. I think he was completely surprised by what happened there. Ooh. Mighty Max now with a dirty tap on KZY. And there's Lizza with another shot on Crisby, and it's all on Cressy now. Got the deagle, 87 HP, and hopes and dreams and prayers and not much else.
Yeah, I mean, Lazza had no business being alive there. I can't believe Faven actually just whiffed that so hard. It must have been, what, three deagle shots, didn't even hit him with 1, and Lazza in the end, well, he'll be thanking his lucky stars, but that was a poor showing from what has actually been Euronics Gaming's best player. Faven just completely stuffing that deagle sprayer.
Indeed, 13-7 Team Endpoint in a pretty commanding position now after winning the T-half going into the CT side of a CT favored map. You got to favor them to take this. Euronics Gaming running out of opportunities now to come back.
Yeah, I mean, Euronics Gaming has tried a couple of things on their buy rounds. They just haven't been very, very effective. And once again, Aaron pushing up aggressively. Molly and grenade comes through. Neither are actually going to do that much damage, as it looks as though Mervit has found his way into secret now. Team Endpoint's done very little to actually contest that. Cressy, though, speed out of the door, is going to win himself his first kill. He won't win him the battle against Lazza, though. But in the meanwhile, Euronics has pushed themselves down into secret. Now, Team Endpoint doesn't look like they're aware of this. It could go very, very south. Aaron, though, has pushed up aggressively outside. He's going to get himself the first. That's KZY. And with no information as to the rest of the players, they must be getting called that it has to be at B. How quickly can Team Endpoint get down there? Aaron just clearing the outside. Make certain that there's no nasty surprises waiting out here as Crisby is going to try planting the smoke. Does Team Endpoint take the fight? Probably will just wait for it to be done.
I'm interested to see how the new area towards the double doors changes the battles that are going on towards it, because there's a little bit more cover for both sides. Mervit now knows that there's going to be a player crossing, and he gets him, takes down Aaron, brings it into a 3v3, but Faven on very low HP here, and he's aware of the player up there on the balcony, takes him down smartly. Lazza now with the AWP against 3 players, and time is a waste, and he takes a dink as well. Might be time to bug out.
Yeah, it definitely is time to bug out. Lazza should just hightail it out of here. He does have himself the AWP. Faven should survive.
Yeah, if you get up to the back stairs there, you're going to be okay. No damage taken. So there's finally a round for Euronics Gaming.
Yeah, finally a T-side round. Got a bit hairy there at points, but that early push in there, and I think Team Endpoint has made that mistake, that they haven't actually contested the secret area that much. They've done it a couple of times when Euronics hasn't landed the smokes properly, but in general, Team Endpoint doesn't actually have a player on the B side. They tend to just stack the ramp and the A side fairly heavily, so a lot more of a passive hold, I think, in terms of how aggressive they're trying to be. Euronics was really trying to push as quickly and, well, aggressively as possible, let's say that, rather, as the CT side when they were playing outside there.
So plenty of equipment and weapons here to work with for both sides. Going to be a pretty even matchup. Of course, no AWP again on Euronics Gaming. They probably could have pulled one out if they wanted to, and Lazar with the self-mentioned AWP. Well, there you go. 2 knocks them over.
Yep, from secret area, which Euronics Gaming hasn't spotted before from Team Endpoint. So instantly effective. Mighty Max spotted, or I don't know if he spotted something, but he certainly heard something, and just going to get into a little bit more of a passive position, not allowing Euronics to take full control of the understairs area. Cressy, oh, they're going to spot one another, but neither of them is able to hit a worthwhile shot. KZY takes a bit of damage from the top. KZY, though, spotted Mighty Max. He's going to catch Mighty Max there. Unfortunately, Team Endpoint do drop a player. It's still 4v3, so definitely in their favor. Cressy will not be able to ascend as yet. And can they get through the ramp player? That will be Weber. It's all up to him now, as he will have a 2-man wrecking party coming his way. He's going to get the first. He's not going to get the second. Cressy cleans him up, but Cressy is going to walk straight into Pulse, who's moving around to that door. Does Cressy make it in time? He's going to have... Well, he's going to have Lazar's bullet in the side. KZY, he must have been spotted there, or was he? Doesn't sound like it. He's going to get himself Pulse. Still a 1v to the...
And no life. He just shotguns him there with the AWP. You can see he's happy with himself, the way he's waggling the mouse around. Really appreciated that shot and feeling very stoked that he managed to hit it. Because, of course, if he missed it, he was pretty dead.
Yeah, he probably was. I still have no idea why the Euronics game player was doing that, though. Like, it's 1 second. Why are you making noise?
Yeah, ran away with the gun. That's pretty much all that he needed to do. And unfortunately for Euronics now, in a situation where they don't have much money, they're force buying around the weapon that they had. And that's pretty much that. I don't like this position up here at the top, just in terms of its fairness. I almost feel like the crane shouldn't be there anymore now that you can't stand on it. It's a sort of an unfair level of cover, in my opinion.
I mean, I suppose it's better than it was.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it was
Previously,
100% unfair before.
Yeah, now it's just 95% as Mighty Max trying to do a Faven. It's not going to work out so well for him. But Lazar, he's going to grab himself over. It's going to just molly off the retreat there. As Cressy is going to run himself straight through the molly into a side. Wasn't able to make it to the vent though. As Weber, well, he will now remove him. Pulse comes flying through the air and takes out Cressy. It is all up to Crisby and Fabian. Can they do anything here? Team Endpoint looking a fantastic new team at this point in relation to Euronics. Weber, though, going to lose that fight, but it is a very, very quick turnaround. Aaron and Pulse clean things up.
All done, nice and easy. 15-8, yep. Map and match point. We're going to see a tactical pause coming in finally, now that the game is pretty much in the toilet already.
I mean, they got no money. Actually, it's not a tactical timeout. It's a technical timeout since they lost a player.
A technical timeout, too.
Even gone.
Well, he's probably their best player as well, so that's not necessarily what they would want. But they don't have much to work with. If you look at the money, they're pretty poor. I don't see this happening for them. And well, if you're Euronics Gaming, you literally need a miracle. This is miracle territory. There's how many map and match points? It's what, 7? Yeah, 7.
Yeah, 7.
Basic maths, hard to do.
Do you need well, quick maths. Do you need a miracle, or do you just need a CSGO 4-star pistol? As Faven's got himself a deagle, armor, and some nades. The rest of the team seems to be matching it. There's even a Mac 10 involved and a UMP here, so potential is there. I mean, potential is minimal, but why you call it a gamble? So Euronics Gaming, can they do what they've thus far been seen to be incapable of doing? As they will do Nade's a little bit off the point there. I think the smoke just stuffing with his aim a little bit. As Merbit and friends, this is a very, very quick move into BK, and I don't even know Team Endpoint is aware of it. As Cressy is trying to make his movement out of the squeaky door, but for the moment that'll be held. Weber is going to get caught pushing though, and that will upgrade a weapon here. Team Endpoint in a very horrible situation. Euronics actually with fantastic positioning. Pulse drops down into the vent. It's not going to work out for him, but Aaron tries the same, and that will be more than enough. Crisby clearly not getting the call from his teammate. That will be the end of him as Aaron gets himself a second. They spot the open door, just look for the rest of the players. Oh, this is so smart from Crazy.
This is great.
There's no way you suspect this.
He could catch them completely off here. The bomb is ticking away. He takes the perfect peek, gets himself the kill. He just needs to hold now. He doesn't need to take the fight. And for Lazar, it's all on him here. And I think he's running out of time. He's darting all over the place hoping to find them. And he's going to try for the smoke defuse. Fakes it out. Oh, and uses it as a shotgun again and goes for more, but Cressy's going to take him out, and there's maybe the miracle we were talking about.
Yeah, that. How does Cressy only take 2 damage from that whole situation? That was crazy. But anyway, I mean, Team Endpoint, they do still have quite a bit of money to buy here, so actually not. That's surprising. I would have thought they'd have a lot more bank than that, but as it is, they are completely tapped out in this round, despite winning, well, I mean, what is it, 7 rounds in a row? Not 7 rounds in a row, sorry. 7 rounds with only 1 in between for Euronics Gaming. So Team Endpoint off to the fantastic start, and fantastic starts are seemingly Aaron's best name as he takes Crazy through the smoke.
And there's finally a kill for Euronics Gaming here, but considering the weaponry they've got, the equipment they've got, they're in a lot of trouble versus the Brits.
Yeah, that's not a good look for them as Crisby takes himself Weber. Is it once again a 3v3? Team Endpoint's going to rotate early. Do they spot the bomb's actually not under the control of Euronics, and this could end up costing them big time. Aaron gets himself a free kill. KZY has now got to get himself to the bomb through 2 players, plant and still make certain of his defense. Now Mighty Max, I mean, he's way off base here. I don't really know what he's up to. They must be aware of KZY's positioning. Why is Aaron by himself here, Mighty Max? Should not be the case.
Who tries the fake flash and does not fake anybody else. Aaron takes him down. So that's the victory there for the British side. And a pretty comprehensive one as well. I thought the Euronics side had a chance at some point there, but I think the chance went by the time it was about 13-7. It was pretty much over for them. They had a couple of lost little kicks of rigor mortis in the body, but then it was dead and buried.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, if you're going to give up that many rounds as CTs, you really have to have an absolutely phenomenal T side. And Euronics Gaming had neither of those. So they had a bad CT and they had an even worse T side. As it is, Team Endpoint get themselves to 5 and 4 on the log. So, I mean, they'll be jumping up quite a bit given the size of the log. But as it is, Team Euronics, they'll lose their 3rd game of the season, and certainly not a good game to lose. Did not look good in it. Team Endpoint, though, will be pretty happy at the end of this.
I think there will be. I reckon maybe we should pull up the stats quickly and have a look at those. Of course, we do have Pro 100 coming up in the next game, the Ukrainian team that's owned by the one and only Zeus.
Partially owned by Zeus.
So there we go. And a little bit later, Dark Passage as well, which you guys might know. The Turkish team are doing particularly well at this stage. So having a look at the stats here for Euronics Gaming, favored was up at the top there. Merbit also quietly getting in there, and KZY with those hero rounds towards the end. They're all actually fairly close, but it's just, I think for them, the damage that they dealt in general, ADR is pretty low across the board, so not showing up in enough runs consecutively, that's pretty much what that would indicate. And for the other side, Pulse, although he, we didn't say his name that much, he top frags at 25, so he got himself a couple of very nice, well, not a couple, shall we say 5 2Ks and 3 3Ks, so amazing work from him. Also Lazar on the AWP with the 22, he had some big impact kills as well towards Secret, so pretty good effort overall. Yeah,
very good team effort there from the boys from Britain, and I mean, can't really ask for much more. Take a fairly easy victory and get themselves up to a better spot on the log. Unfortunately, I do think, given how I've seen the EU log, I don't think they have a chance at playoffs.
Indeed, I don't think it's going to happen for them either. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a 5-minute break, then we'll be coming back with the next game for you, which I would love if I could remember what it was. It's Pro 100, yes, versus
Pro 100
Chocomix.
versus, yeah, Chocomix, the team from Israel.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. The Israelis versus the Ukrainians. And Pro 100 do have a bit of pedigree. They're looking pretty good. So I'm quite excited to see what they do.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be an interesting exercise in some very, very odd branches of CS.
Indeed. So we will catch you guys in a couple of minutes. Stick around.
From far away, but you always knew you'd be the one to work while they all play. And you'd lay awake at night and scheme of all the things that you would change, but it was just a dream. Again, something I know all too well, and I fear I might have broken a promise I made to myself. Seems I can hang over the edge and keep my feet down on the floor, and I know I can't let you in, 'cause my hand's against the door. I can't love you when I'm sober, with nowhere to place the blame, and a dirty inside still remains. I can't love you when I'm sober, when you're lying next to me, but something's got you holding on, holding on, holding on to me. There's not a time that I've been perfect, and not a time that you were wrong. If I can't feel today, how should I live tomorrow? And this is the only way the world's seen through a bottle. And I see behind that pretty face, you don't know me. I can't love you when I'm sober, with nowhere to place the blame. And when the light shines through the window, a dirty inside still remains. I can't love you when I'm sober, when you're lying next to me, but something's got you holding on, holding on, holding on, to something that'll never be, to something that'll never. Life under the influence is all I know and all I see. Life under the influence is taking over me. Life under the influence is all I know and all I see. And I'm drowning in the water, 'cause the hook is in too deep, in too deep. And I can't love you when I'm sober, with nowhere to place the blame. And when the light shines through the window, a dirty inside still remains. I can't love you when I'm sober, when you're lying next to me, but something's got you holding on, holding on to me. I can't love you when I'm sober, with nowhere to place the blame. And when the light shines through the window, a dirty inside still remains. I can't love you when I'm sober, when you're lying next to me, but something's got you holding on, holding on, holding on to me.
Don't hold me back, God knows I've been through this before. I can taste it in the air, and it leaves me wanting more. You crossed me once, it's left a bitter taste, and now you push me, I won't tear you down. If you're man enough to fight, if you're man enough to fall, what are you gonna do with your back against the wall? You played the game so far, now come and claim your prize. There's no escaping this time. You think you know it all, talk will only take you so far before you have to prove it. This time I'll watch you lose it. You're out of line and out of time. Just walk away while you still have your pride. If you're man enough to fight, then you're man enough to fall. What are you gonna do with your back against the wall? You
They're waiting now for me to stand and make them proud. I know I'll make it through somehow. When I have you together.
Mr. Prophecy, can you hear me, sir?
I can indeed.
Oh, good. Well, that's always good to know. Should probably go to the game view, right?
Usually helps.
That would help, yeah. What I'm discovering with broadcasting off a laptop is that I don't have all the shortcut keys where they should be because I have to push a function key to make some of them work. So I need to change those.
Yeah.
Figured that out.
Well, I mean, there's always downsides to everything.
This is true. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Of course, this is ESEA Main. You can tell this because it says ESEA at the bottom of the screen. So this is going to be Pro 100 versus Choco Mix. We're still waiting for some of the players, but rather than make you guys wait any longer, because you've already been waiting about 15 minutes now, I'm probably getting frustrated every time I change the timer from 0 to another 5 minutes. So let's just talk about it a little bit, and maybe not this just yet because we're still waiting for a few of the players. Let's talk about Star Series, because the interesting link here to Pro 100 is that the team is partially owned by Zeus of Navi.
Yeah. I mean, you could call it Navi, you could call it a simple show at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me personally, I think Simple is probably hitting possibly the highest individual level I've ever seen in CS. The only thing that I really could compare it to would be KDS late 2014, early 2015.
Yeah, I would
And I mean,
compare
that
it
whole team
exactly
is-
to that, and that's Titan Kenya. So he's hitting 50 kills in some maps. He's just
Well, I mean, that's overtime, but yeah.
still.
I suppose, look, the Titan KNES was at least. I mean, the whole team was built around him to, make absolutely certain that he succeeded. So, while there was a lot of onus placed on him, like they would win they would actually win games off the back of him. They just had a lot of other terrible players. Whereas this Navi team, like, if Simple doesn't go ham, they just don't even come close to winning.
This is very true. If you guys are wondering why there's no sound, it's because I haven't turned it on yet because we're busy talking. So don't worry, I will fix it when we actually go live. It's just sometimes distracting when you try to talk before, and there's all sorts of gunshots going on, right?
A little bit.
But yeah, as you said, the individual level of Simple is to such a level right now that there isn't another player in the world that can touch him. And it's just, to me, it's ironic considering what the HLTV rankings were, that I think they put him at 6th or something. I mean, it was pretty clear to a lot of people towards the end of last year that he was individually the best player in the world. But of course, they go based on stats and the how many large tournaments
they
you
go
through.
they go based on team achievements.
Well, yes, that's what I was busy saying.
Because team achievements matter in an individual award.
Of course. They do, totally. It makes 100% sense.
Yeah.
Well, I understand where they're coming from on it. It doesn't mean we necessarily agree, but hey, it's how their ratings work. And if one looks at just Simple's individual level right now, it's so high. There is no other player that's as hard as he is right now that can stand against him. I mean, some of the kills that he's getting, it's just like you look at it and go, there's no way. Oh. That's just, when you say that phrase that many times in the space of a single game, you're like, okay, his number's up. 3 people are looking at him, and he somehow kills all of them. It's just like,
I mean, there's only so many times you can ask, like, Simple, what was that? Because it becomes pointless after a while. But yeah, he is absolutely insane. And, I mean, look, I don't think Navi is going to win many tournaments. I don't even think they're going to make the finals in many tournaments unless they can somehow figure out how to get the Flamey that appeared in the quarters and semis to pitch up regularly. Because Simple is basically doing a one-man carry job at the moment, and he just does not have the rest of the team around him to support. I mean, I'd personally say that I think that Mouse is probably much more likely to continue being successful, and in the current environment of a fairly shaky scene as a whole, Mouse could be fairly solid at the very least. I mean, I certainly expect at least one more finals spot from them in the next 4 or 5 months. I mean, maybe not another huge event the size of Star Ladder, but certainly they are a dangerous. They're a dangerous team in the playoffs now.
Yeah, I'd agree with
definitely
you.
not want to be playing them in a quarterfinal.
It's interesting to see their development since ESG Mykonos as well, because they they of course won that tournament, and then we didn't see that much of them. They weren't at all the tournaments that some of the other tier 1 teams were at as well, which is part of it. So that can also factor into the whole thing as well. But in general, they just look really solid. If they can make Oscar show up a little bit more than he does, they could be a real threat to some of the elite teams. And we must also remember that some of the elite teams were a little rusty and underwhelming, shall I say, at this Star Series tournament. I mean, traditionally, SK are terrible after every major for at least a month. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see what the true level is at IEM Katowice this weekend. And of course, if you want to read all about IEM Katowice, here's the humble brag / subtle plug. You can go over to jinx.tv, go over to their website. I've been writing a series of previews for IEM Katowice and the ones for SK Gaming FaZe, and I think G2 would have gone up tonight as well. So you can read all about those teams' chances. And the weird thing from Star Series is that the 2 finalists aren't actually at IEM Katowice.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that also speaks to the nature of the teams involved there. Like, I think Mousesports is a very good team. I just don't know how successful they're going to be, because if you look at the kind of impact that Chris J was having, like, you can't actually expect him to have that much of a performance again. Like, it's just, he was beyond insane. For a player that I mean, used to be called Online J, I think it is... it's a wonderful feather in your cap that now he's actually turned around. He's actually become a very, very good player. Sunny as well has gotten off to an absolutely fantastic start in 2018. But I do sometimes worry that, like, so much is placed into Oscar, and the fact that he is somewhat up and down can cause a couple of problems when, you know, they put so much money into him and they make certain to give him the AWP as often as they can that... you know, it's a big gamble to take if he's going to play as aggressively as he does. Look, he makes it work more often than not, but there are those games where he does kind of go missing, and we actually saw that in the first 2 maps of the final. He was somewhat missing until they were able to get it into the overtime, and then were able to pull it through late on.
Indeed, something that I just want to point out, which I find utterly hilarious, and had to stop myself from laughing my ass off while you were talking there, was... Seagull only just realized that these aren't SA teams. Lol. Ukraine versus Israel. Yes, you are right about that, Clarence. It does say ESEA Main Europe. Just pointing that out, but EU means Europe. But hey,
I mean, Seagull is the guy with a picture on his profile of that seagull sitting on the no seagulls sign.
Yes.
So.
He held sunglasses upon said cheeky seagull.
Yep.
So we got all the players on the server. I'll bring the sound online any second. Don't worry. Just waiting for everybody to ready up and get ready. We're enjoying watching the dead bodies and nobody really doing anything.
I can give Seagull a little bit of trivia about Choco Mix.
Oh?
Teddy likes chocolate.
What?
Yeah. Presented without comment.
Okay. Presented without comment. Cool. Well, it looks like the teams are just about to go live, so why don't I give us some sound then? I think I'll be that benevolent overlord. There is sound, guys. And now they're not doing anything.
Of course. Def just wandering around, stabbing the air.
Well, having their team talks, having whatever Ukrainians have in... I mean, what do they do to warm up for a game? Do they knock back a few vodkas? What's the deal?
I think that is incredibly racist.
Is
it? Well, I mean...
Well, don't pretty much people from all over CIS enjoy the potato originating alcohol?
You know that Poland also makes vodka?
I do.
Did you know that Poland is not part of CIS?
Used to be.
No.
When it was called the Soviet Union?
Yeah, but they're not part of CIS.
No, of course they're not part of CIS.
Exactly.
Talking about Poland, of course, Katowice are coming up this weekend. We were just talking about it a minute ago. Pro 100 is, again, the team that Zeus has put together to try to uplift the Ukrainian scene. I've seen fairly good results out of them. Are they really good enough to hang at that sort of level yet? I mean, they're not going to hang at a Katowice kind of level yet, but are they close to tier 2 yet?
Probably not. I mean, the Russian scene is fairly large. They are concentrated in a number of teams, and I do think that the Russian scene is curious in that, well, the CIS scene. Let's be a little bit more cosmopolitan, but the CIS scene, I think, largely concentrates its best players. Well, hopefully, its best players in Na'Vi, but it's also a very, very odd scene in that, like, clearly players that should be on better teams just aren't. Like, if you take, I mean, if you took Electronic and, I mean, Edward, for instance, off of Na'Vi and replaced him with Adren and Hobbit, I think that might be a world-beating team.
Yeah, that's true. Or even if they got a couple of the youngsters in, like a Chopper or a Mur or somebody like that, they're at least looking a little hotter than some of the Na'Vi stars.
Yeah. Chocomix not going to win the knife round, unfortunately. Pro 100 clearly have the bling to go with the skill, and they'll come out ahead there. So they will almost certainly start on the CT side. That is the traditional best side for any team starting on Overpass. Unless, of course, you're Danish and just crazy, then you go T-side.
Indeed, if you're Danish and you're crazy, the Danes, of course, always well prepared on this particular map, and this is one of those maps that you do need to be well prepared on to be able to play it properly. Otherwise, it's just going to be a hot mess for you, unfortunately. Pro 100 versus Chocomix. This is ESEA Main Europe, and we got Pro 100 on the CT side. Chocomix, the Israelis, starting out here against the very aggressive Avon, and gets himself a headshot, going back for more. He's pinned down at the moment, but still fighting, trying to get his way out of here, and looks like he might be able to escape.
Nope, he's going to go down. Oh, Tedesy does take
Spoke
quite
too
a bit of
soon.
time to finish him off. Yeah. As Chocomix does get the trade eventually. Pro 100 still in a fairly solid position, though. They've got 3 players with armor, 1 with smoke and a kit, and Chocomix. And they've got 1 guy with utilities, so that should be for the execute. But they've not actually made much noise towards B. Now, Pro 100 does only have 1 player on there. He's actually retreating all the way back to the graffiti area, although it looks like Kenzo, has he spotted something? I think he has. If they step, milliseconds of time turning things around, but I think he's spotted enough. You can actually see the rotations coming in now. Pro 100 should have this by all rights, as it is a 2-on-3, so smallest chances, but with that execution, Flourish will remove Biron there, and it is now only up to Specs against 3 members of the Pro 100 team, and Kenzo with an absolute beauty of a shot.
Some nice shooting coming out from the USPs there, and Flerich and Kenzo both turning on the style nicely. Pro 100 taking the lead. Ukrainians taking the lead on the German map against the Israelis. In case you were confused, Siegel. Just saying. I should probably stop giving him a hard time, but of course the buy on the CT side due to the round win. On the other side, they're buying anyway. They're going for the force buy. Jeez, he took himself a headshot there through the smoke, and a lot of damage being exchanged onto Chocomix now.
Yeah, Chocomix does actually get the kill onto A, but they've also gotten the kill on Flourish. They're def turning things around, but Kenzo is along to save him, and that's actually the bomb. So all this hard work from Chocomix to get those early kills has resulted in a lost bomb. Now they've got a ton of work to do. They will get Crushy though. Opening themselves up ever so slightly now. They're going to try to fight here as Chocomix has recovered the bomb. That will be on Biron though. Can he do any more? They need to get him a little bit of assistance. A flying headshot with a MP9 there. Does do significant amounts of damage to Def. As Chocomix now in, well, I mean, you could say an unenviable situation, but got themselves into this mix, unfortunately. 2 players on low HP, Kenzo and Def, and they will just continue to re-smoke this area. 47 seconds. Chocomix has got to make something happen.
Jeez, great big brass balls on Kenzo there to stay in that position, considering the spam, and he does go down. And through the smoke there. Amazing work there from Chocomix.
Yeah. A little bit of luck, a little bit of skill. Chocomix pulls it out, so I mean, do you think their name is in relation to like a chocolate cupcake or a chocolate cake?
Chocolate
right?
cereal? Chocolate muffins?
Because apparently Tedesy likes to mix chocolate with CS.
Ah, you looked at his profile, did you?
No, I looked at Chocomix's profile because that's where I got these stats from.
Oh, Nade not really doing as much damage as I thought. What's interesting to me about both of these teams is just how aggressive they are. They both just want to take fights all day, every day. This might be a very quick game if they're going to play like this.
Yeah, it is pretty in your face at the moment. Crushy and Avon with the long stack at the moment. Specs and friends have not checked that area, so could be rounded on. As we do also see an aggressive push here from Flourish. He's moving up through the lower area, up the ladder, and it's only Tedesy holding the B push, but he's not actually going to spot anything here. So this could go very, very south for Chocomix if they are spotted. Biron's going to take that long range duel, and he will lose it to Avon at point blank. Sick. And Specs, as well as Scott Sterling, will just crush the round. So Scott Sterling, that's the young man that seems to block every single soccer ball with his face, is it not?
Wow, the names. I just love it. Flourish. I do feel like I need to, at some point with Flourish's name, say that he's done something with a flourish, just because I haven't done anything quite that bad yet this cast.
You don't have a young child. So, no, you're not a dad. You may not make a joke like that.
Yeah, got no nature. It's a shame.
Truly is, but as it is, Chocomix picks up the second round. Pro 100, well, they will be ruining the lost opportunity in the anti-eco there as Chocomix gets away with 4, building up a fairly solid bank here as a couple of players can still buy even if they do lose this round. Pro 100 though, they are going to be poor as church mice. They've got absolutely nothing. They got a UMP and a set of armor on Flourish. The rest of them will cobble together whatever they can, but it's really just as much damage as they can do to Chocomix. No actual hope of winning this round.
Yeah, not a lot to work with. There's the airstrike coming in, but not going to do too much. And whew, jumps right through the flames. 5 HP, gets himself a kill. And this is super aggressive from both sides. They're just knocking him over. Sick, doing some amazing work there. And it's just down to Kenzo. This is going so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, he's got himself a deagle, so he could potentially pick up a single kill here. Definitely could get the kill on Biron if he hits him, but the rest of the team playing slowly now is Chocomix, just making certain that they... Okay, that's interesting that they're going to give the AK to Biron. I mean, I understand the principle, but the AK is probably a lot more valuable than the SMG. So, I mean, it's going to get out of it. So no
Pretending
stress
it's
yet.
an AWP. There you go.
Probably. Yeah, well, I
Weird.
mean, Chocomix looking pretty solid here. I don't see any reason for them to necessarily upgrade their guns. Keep it as a bit of a free round. They will trade out what they do have. So they'll pick up the AWP. That'll be on Tedesy. And Tedesy will drop his for Mas. So Scott Sterling will upgrade from that MP7. And fairly solid buy all around. Pro
One of
100
these
light
names
on the
is
names.
not like the others.
Which names is that?
Scott Sterling.
Scott Sterling.
It just seems to be a little bit out. 3-1 at the moment. Pro 100 with the buy. Limited utility to work with here. And one of the... Look at this. Walking in very quietly and softly. Def going to be under a ton of pressure, and I think he was spotted just as the smoke went down, and he's going to go down there. Kenzo gets one before getting absolutely slapped down by Chocomix.
Yeah, Chocomix, actually a clever tactic. They're walking slowly through, and lucky to get the first spot onto Def, who was trying to be sneaky, but it's not going to work out. Shots coming through the smoke, returned by Scott Sterling, but no real damage being dealt. Somehow Flourish doesn't take a full... How much damage did he take? Felt like he took like 5 there.
Took a bit more in the end, but not a heck of a lot. They need to save these weapons because they don't have the money here. And Chocomix, well, the money is going to start to accumulate and possibly rage out of control if Pro 100 don't do something. The problem, of course, when you save 2 weapons, you're very tempted to force buy on them and keep yourself in that economic hole.
Yeah. Clever by Chocomix to actually make a play for the B side. Usually, they often say you have to earn the right to go B. On overpass, you can make as many air plays as you want, but that B rush is often earned, and it takes a really, really good in-game leader to spot when you can actually make that play. So Chocomix makes a good call, get themselves a 4th round, and Pro 100 probably will be saving here. I can't really see any reason to invest much more than maybe just an upgraded pistol or 2. They have 2 players on M4s, so potentially. I suppose that is why the pause was called.
Must be. Hey, Crim, good to see you. Thanks for joining, mate. Pro 100 versus Chocomix, and I'm kind of confused at this one. Pro 100 is supposed to be one of the better teams. Chocomix schooling them so far.
Well, I mean, at the moment, Chocomix is 6-3 in main, and Pro 100 is only 4-3. Again, I mean that doesn't tell us anything about the teams that they've played, since the way.
It's only what a casual 140 teams in the league.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, okay, so just looking at this, Chocomix won their first 4 games, lost the next 2, won the next 2 after that, and then lost the previous one. Whereas Pro 100 got off to a 2-game win streak, lost, although it does look like 2 of their wins and one win and a loss. No, 2 wins and a loss look like autos, because they got 3 16-0s, 2 16-0 wins and 1 16-0 loss. So
Forfeits.
Must just be auto losses. There's no way.
Yeah, that doesn't make a ton of sense. We're going to go into the round here. It looks like Pro 100 haven't fully invested, but they've certainly invested enough to keep themselves in a slight hole, but they might still be able to have an okay buy, I guess, in the next round. Pushing aggressively here towards long, going to walk right into that AWP. Needs to kill this Flourish, gets himself one, but he's in so much trouble. I don't know if he's going to be able to get out of there alive.
He's actually going to smoke up there, so a good way to maybe just bait them in. Teams will push, and this is actually going to help Crushy out. He's going to walk right up. Does he spot the bomb, though? He must have heard something here. As you can see, Ted is... Oh! Pure luck. But Crushy is going to grab himself a kill and an upgraded weapon. And now all of a sudden, they've got the AWP pinned in to the playground area. This is a huge win. Does he get the kill, though? He has to get the kill. Does not bear on. Cleans up Crushy there as Tedesy. You can see he's a little bit nervous. Doesn't exactly know where the rest of Pro 100 are. None of the Chocomix guys have spotted these two. One of them, well, actually both of them have armor, so this could still be an unlikely but possible win for Pro 100. But oh dear lord, you can see Specs is actually pushed all the way into A, so he's making this call, and this could be a terrible call since it looks as though players are moving towards B here. Biron. Do they hear anything? They're going to spot the first player. That'll be Kenzo. He's going down. And all of a sudden, it's all up to Avon. It's a 1v3. He does have the advantage of Chocomix not knowing where he is, but he's got to win this. Gets smoked off there, and I think that's just luck. Specs will spot him trying to push through the smoke, and that'll be the end of it. Chocomix 5-1 up on Overpass.
Gee, Pro 100 playing exactly like their part owner Zeus.
What, no CT side to speak of?
Any side? Yeah, that's being
Look,
that's being a
he
little
did
mean.
get 8 kills, which is more than we'll ever get at pro level. So I'm not going to take too much of a shot at him. But yeah, I mean, I think for a player of his caliber, you needed to get at least more than that. Avon, who takes a bit of damage.
Just a little
That
tickle there.
grenade. Yeah, I mean, it's enough to get him killed. A really bad gun.
That was fast.
That was indeed fast, and Sick will be ruminating on his life choices. As a result of that, the boost is
nice
going to work
boost.
out. Specs gets a very, very quick kill there onto Crushy. They will now to be pushing towards the B site. It's as though they favour the B site on these full buys here as Def. Well, he's got a little bit of assistance there from Kenzo. Can they do enough? Another boost. Specs, does he spot the play? He does indeed. Chocomix with the clever plays here. As Tedesy is going to be just holding the angle with the AWP now. Chocomix probably make the play for B, but it's not certain. It's Pro 100. They've still only got one player on B. The other two are pushing off of A, but they're going to push very, very slowly. And Specs, with a third boost, he's going to spot himself a player. Does Kenzo get caught out by this? So the shots come through, so they must know something's up. But, I mean, the reason why Chocomix is moving so slowly is because you just don't expect there to only be one player on B at this point. Pro 100. What is the CT rotation? That
Yeah, what are they doing? There's the headshot for Scott Sterling. Now they're going to be coming in, and it's pretty much safe territory already. There's no point in going for it. Where were they going? Were they hoping they were going to cut them off pushing up long or something? Yeah. Got to criticize and shake my head at that, man.
I mean, you know, I'm not asking for like an insane rotation, but like at least move one player. Why do you leave 2 on the B on the A bathrooms? And then just move so slowly. They were walking all the way there.
Yeah, it almost comes across as if they weren't fully convinced that it really was a B execute. Very, very strange stuff, but got to give Choco Mix some credit there. Those 2 kills on Specs, shall I say, pretty nice boosts. So they clearly have some nice setups. They're well prepared on this map, and Pro 100 not looking very well prepared at all. They're looking at 6s and 7s.
Yeah, this is often why you will see, it's like Overpass is not a map that teams gamble on. Like, teams will gamble on Nuke because, it could go either way. Like, if you have a solid T side, or if you have a solid CT side, you can actually win out that round. Overpass is one of those maps where if you don't know how to play it, you just avoid it like the plague. I mean, we even see a couple of the top South African teams just not being keen on even looking at this map.
Well, the buyers can still come in for Pro 100, getting aggressive here, but getting aggressive on the wrong side of the map again. The read's completely off. The rest of the enemies are just rushing up along here, moving towards A pretty quickly, and if they don't fall back quick enough, they could get caught off here.
Yeah, Pro 100 with a horrible read, and he's actually holding the back lines. He'll give himself a kill into Flourish, but it is far too late for Pro 100 here. They're going to get caught out the shotgun at close range, not enough damage. That is when you just pull your hair out. 96 damage, and Specs, it's already a save. Pro 100 want no part of this. Crushy is already making hay while the sun shines and running for his life with the AWP there. The other two also don't want any part. 6 getting shot by his teammate. Probably just a bit of frustration there. As Chocomix looking very, very solid on this east side. Good calls all around, as they do now throw in the A long rush. A little bit dicey, but I mean, made the good call, and it's done quite a bit of work here. 7 rounds in a row now for Chocomix since winning that force buy, and Pro 100 in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, constantly saving, hanging on to weapons, and ooh, okay, that was interesting. He waited until that very moment to strike, and then didn't strike anything.
Yeah,
it's kind of an allegory for how their game's been going so far. Unfortunately for Pro 100, they've been very limited in terms of equipment. I think this is only the second time we're going to see a proper full buy on them. They need to make it count.
it's actually the 3rd full buy, but I mean,
Well, if you count the Mag 7 buy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just doesn't feel like Pro 100 is doing a whole lot of anything, really. Aggression towards
They're doing it
the
again.
fountain, though, has given them some information, but is the rotation in time? Sick with an absolutely monster shot there as he removes a player. Biron as well, insanely fast reaction speeds here from the Chocomix players. 1 will go down, Crushy gets himself a 2nd as well, not aware of the 3rd, but the rotation's already in. That should be enough. Does Tedesy and Specs have enough in the round, as Tedesy's not going to spot the player running through the smoke? That is crazily aggressive here. All up to Specs. Can he do it now? It's a 1v2. He's up against an AWP and an M4. He's going to slow peek right into Avon's crosshair, and that is an easy win there for the Pro 100 guys. Mental situation there with, who was it? I think Crushy running through the smoke?
Yeah, just hightails through the smoke and gets himself a couple kills to, basically crush the defense there. And we saw that push from Chocomix earlier in the game, and it worked beautifully for them to just sort of back their way out slowly through Monster, because Pro 100 aren't being too aggressive there. It almost works for them again. If not for the heroics from Crushy, I think it was all over.
Yeah, that was very, very well played by Crushy, as Avon gets himself Scott Sterling. So all of a sudden, the early kills going the way of Pro 100. This is exactly what you want to see. Crushy gets another free frag, that time on Specs. Tedesy does kill his opposing AWPer though, so getting off to a solid start as a whole, but I mean, he's the last one left on his team. They still have money to buy here, and still have money to buy for at least another 2 rounds. Chocomix not really in all that bad of a situation, but Tedesy will probably be looked to saving.
And in saying that, he goes for the fight. Again, the insane aggression coming out from both of these sides. And so far, it's been favoring Chocomix, probably because they got Mix in the name. Pugging is all about aggression. For Pro 100, they're supposed to be a more structured team, but showing some of that signature CIS angst. Let's take a fight, boys. Let's take all of the fights.
I mean, it's worked the last couple of rounds, but I don't know if that's a policy for long-term success. As Pro 100 should still be okay if they need to buy in the next round. It will be a bit shaky on a couple of the players, but by and large they do have some money to buy. So Chocomix We'll get into a default here. It's a very light A default. They've not really done a whole lot at A on the full buys. So that is certainly something to, I think, probably change up if they do ever go and watch that. But they really haven't shown a lot of movement towards towards A when they do have the or when they're up against rifles.
One does have to hope that the Pro 100 do sort out their rotations, because they have been incredibly slow and not on point at all so far. And not being tested too much yet. Very slow from Choco Mix, uncharacteristically slow, I'd say. But Pro 100 definitely showing some deficiencies on the CT side, and Tedesy showing no deficiencies with his AWPing, taking down his opposite number. And Avon was the big heavy hitter in the previous round, so with him gone, Pro 100 under a bit of pressure here.
Yeah, the one thing of Pro 100 does seem very, very trigger happy on using their utility. I mean, they're down to a molly and 2 flashes at this point. There's 30 seconds to go, so if this does get into a retake scenario, I don't see them doing a whole lot of anything. Chocomex still has quite a bit of utility, but do they use it? That's the real question here. As the last molly goes out, that's going to slow things out. So I mean, Chocomex really has to get something done here. They have to hit these shots very, very quickly. They're going to hit the first, they're not going to hit the second.
That's it.
That should be the end of the round there. Scott Sterling gets the first one. They have to make certain that they get Def. They do get Def. Do they have time to plant the bomb? He's going to have to jump in. That is... No.
Does he? Oh, jeez.
But why does Flarich not peek there? He must have heard the bomb plant go down.
Yeah, that seems a little insane. Let's see what he can do here in the 1v1 situation. Is he going to walk into the crosshair? Here's Ted as he takes him down. That seems like around the Pro 100 left on the board there. Crushy and Def doing pretty good work to slow things down there, and it looked like they had the round. All that needed to happen was for Flourish to take the peak, but I guess maybe the thinking for him was that if he peaks and dies, then the round's over anyway. I don't know.
Possibly. I mean, I'd still take the chance, although it's much of a muchness. I don't know. It just felt like if you looked at the time there, I mean, at least somebody on his team must have made the call like, dude, he has enough time to plant.
So again, a full buyer for Pro 100, but not the fullest of full buyers, shall we say, with the 2 UMP 45s. And nice observation in the previous round about how quickly Pro 100 are using their utility. They're probably going to need to hang on to it a little bit more here, because they're in huge danger of losing even more rounds if they get the reset here.
Yeah, and I mean, again, you can see, like, they didn't have a lot of utility to start off, but again, they're down to, like, a single flash on 2 players, a smoke on another. Avon could get himself a kill here. Fantastic play.
Nice
Tedesy just stepping into the angle, unfortunately not capable of hitting Avon there. So, Pro 100, they get that opening pick, and it's certainly something that they need specs. He's got some boosting tricks. Oh ho! Fantastic play there. The double peek as Sick just sprays, well, doesn't spray, he peeks the door, forcing the player off short back, and then they double peek the guy in the water area. So Avon's rotated in. Oh, okay.
Catches the
Peek
boost
doesn't work out
neatly.
this time. Yeah.
Very
doesn't
nice
work
work.
out this time.
So 4-3 at the moment, 30 seconds just about on the clock, and Flerich in an unexpected position is going to peek into it nonetheless. I don't think he needed to. If he stayed where he was, that's pretty much stopping them from really being able to do anything, and now they do have a chance with the 3-on-2. They should get the bomb plant here. It's super aggressive plant.
Yeah, that is a crazy aggressive plant. As Sick is trying to take that fight, but the flash actually doing him in. Gonna spot the person, get the first kill, but he's got Def to his rear and doesn't realize that. And Pro 100 immediately breaking back as Chocomix. That'll do some heavy damage to the economy. They should still be able to buy in the next round, though.
Yeah, they should be just fine here. So there we go, a round for Pro 100. They've of course already lost the half because Chocomix on the 8. The best they can hope for here is 8-7, but as to whether that's going to be enough, I have my doubts. Let's hope for Pro 100's sake they do have a well-sorted T side, CT side. It's really been down to individual moments that have won them the rounds, as opposed to their overall strategy, which I think's been a little lacking.
Yeah, it really has felt as though Pro 100 is not well versed on this map, particularly not on its CT side. And I mean, that is unfortunately the problem with the ESEA, is that if you're not good on all the maps, you're going to be losing at least a couple of them when it turns into that map week. So
That's a nice thing about ESEA, though, is that it does force teams to learn maps, which I'm sure that's entirely the intention. Getting a little bit of bathrooms control almost, if they can get through that wall of smokes there. But again, a lot of utility being expended pretty early on, but much slower rounds the last couple than what we saw earlier on, where it was just a hold down W rush A kind of scenario. And Flerich flirting with disaster. He gets the flash from his teammates. They're all flashed, but they kill him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the few rounds where Chocomex has actually decided to make a slow play towards A on a buy round. Usually they'll go there when they know that the enemies are either forcing up or they won't be on that, you know, like a great buy. So,
oh, information
could
play.
All be undone here by Def. Do they rotate Kenzo back? Kenzo is walking back to B. Like, it's been cleared out.
Where's the rotation here, guys?
There
Hurry
we go,
up.
finally.
Okay. We're getting a bit frustrated because they have been super slow with the rotation. Crushy now doing some amazing work. Gets himself 2 there, and it's leaving just Tedesy on the AWP. Is he going to look to save it? No, somebody could be close, and it's not going to work out for him. There's the backstab from Def. But again, Pro 100 very slow to react to information.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, Chocomex is... I mean, I don't see them forcing up here. I really do hope that they don't. They've won the half pretty convincingly, so allow Pro 100 to get to 6. Make certain that you can win that 9th round with a full buy as Pro 100. I mean, starting to pull it back towards the end of the half, but still a horrible situation to have lost 7 in a row, although they have recovered decently well given the circumstances.
And, well, a lot of damage being handed out there to Chocomix. They don't have a lot to work with here as well. Armor on only 2 of the players. This should be around to Pro 100. Again, Reed should. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the case, but there is the damage coming through the smoke there. Tedesy dancing around Scott Sterling to get the kill, but it is only him and Tedesy left alive.
Oh, Avon's going to whiff that shot. He's going to get himself a second bite at the cherry, and that'll be Tedesy on a platform as Scott Sterling joins him on that. As Chocomix should be able to buy a pulley here. AWP is possible out of specs, but they're going to go for a full AK buy instead. No,
Oh, there's the AWP, okay.
Okay.
Tedesy's got the AWP.
I would have thought that maybe they dropped Tedesy the AWP off for a player a little bit more stacked on cash so that he can get some utility, but okay. Gung-ho, no head armor.
Final round of the half. Crushy getting destroyed there.
And Pro 100... Well, I mean,
doing
Crushy
the destroying, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, Crushy actually just getting specs back there for boost.
Brain fart.
Specs. Yeah. Got Sterling throwing smoke. And Chocomix once again slow rounds here once they go towards A. And Biron, he's just holding that B side. He's going to try lurk out now. Does this work though? Avon is going to spot the player. Sick, just a little bit of an over peek there. Biron. Enzo can't see him yet. He's going to spot this shadow, and that is more than enough to get the jump onto Biron there. Crushy. And
Ooh,
boost
nice
does not work. Chocomix has tried a number of boosts. Not all of them have been successful. It's Tedesy now in a 1 versus 5. He's got himself the AWP in 40 seconds. Gets the first one. That'll be on Crushy. But still a long way to go, and Avon will respond. 8-7 at the end of the first half.
Yeah, that's much better results, I think, in the first half than Pro 100 would have been expecting, considering just how much pain they were taking early on. If we look at the... Oh, we can't look at the round distribution at the moment because of the ESEA client will be switching the halves, but it was, I think, 6-0 at one point?
7-1.
7-1. Okay, so...
And then they got to 8-7 at the end. So, good recovery, but I think a little bit too little... little bit too late.
Yeah, 7 is at least doable. If they'd ended on 5, I'd say it's pretty much done on going into T-side. But again, Chocomix, the name says mix. One almost expects them to be a little bit uncoordinated, but they look pretty coordinated, especially with the boosts that they were pulling out there. They do seem to have some things prepared on you. It just depends. Do they have a strong CT side against Pro 100, who are a team that's been together a little longer, I think?
Yeah, I mean, Chocolate is actually not a fully Israeli team. They've got 2 Israeli players and 3 Swedes.
Well, the Swedes are always the preferred mercenaries when you're going to hire some good aimers for your team. So we've seen that with the British as well, and the German team. So on to the B site they go is Pro 100. They're going to get the first kill there. Avon showing some amazing aim. Flerich getting a kill as well. Tedesy under a bit of pressure while he's reloading the CZ, but they don't pressure him in that bit of time where they could have taken him down easily. But Kenzo coming and gets himself 2, and it's all on Scott Sterling, the man with the or shall we say... I was going to say the rather decent British name for a Swede, but anyway, stole my thunder as they stole his life. Ace all.
Well, you know, I'm really disappointed that Pro 100, that there's a missing player from Pro 100 tonight. His name is XR Kun. if you know anything about Star Wars,
yes, I know who that is.
Yeah, some nerd points there.
Fantastic. We both know who he is from Kevin Anderson's novels in Star Wars. Kevin J. Anderson. Jeez, I'm such a nerd. I haven't read those books in like 10 years, but hey.
Well, as it is, Chocolate just going for the force up here. Pretty standard. Specs actually forcing up to a USP. Okay. Did he drop weapons?
He bought armor with the USP. Okay. Unusual.
That must be 2 pistols dropped. So that Tedesy and like Scott Sterling could probably get a better pistol.
That surprises me because Specs was one of the better players in the first half. You'd think he'd be the one wanting that. And there's the sound cue. He gets the nice one tap followed by the next shot. He should go down, yeah, and he does. Avon gonna trade him out with the CZ and recover the AK. So still a 4-on-4 at this stage. 4-on-4. 8-on-8 on the scoreboard, 45 seconds on the clock, and now they're going on a little bit of a fishing expedition here. Specs looking to sniff out where the enemy are.
Yeah, this is also a very, very late rotation here by Pro 100. I mean, this could come back to bite them. Chocolate knows what's up. You can see how quickly they've reacted to the information that, like, nothing's hit A yet, which means that it's likely Pro 100 coming B, and Chocolate already got 3 players stacked in. They got 1 very, very close. He'll be pushing through the underpass now, so this has to go the way of Pro 100 in these early fights.
Oh, and it does, and how? 3 kills very easily, and catching the backstab is Crushy. Could have gone super wrong there, and gotta say, they're playing to that CIS tendency to play late in the round. Are we gonna see that continue?
I don't know. I mean, CIS teams seem to have this, like, weird thing with it. Well, I mean, let's not say all CIS teams. Let's say,
but a lot of them.
Navi-esque teams.
Flipside do it too.
Yeah.
Gambit
it's
do
either
it
like
too.
the ultra late execute or like just the straight up rush.
Indeed, and it looks like we're getting the straight up rush, yeah, or the walking rush, shall we say, and they're finding the bomb side relatively unoccupied. Just 1 player, yeah, who shouldn't have gotten that. Actually, I was going to say he should go down, gets himself a clean headshot on Avon. Makes it a 4-on-4, but they don't have much to work with, so the bomb's going to go down. And, well, past that, pretty much unwinnable here for Chocomix, barring an absolute miracle involving all of the PCs of Pro 100 simultaneously exploding.
I mean, it's not impossible. No, it probably is, though. Baron and the Specs get removed from play there by Flourish and Dex. But Crushy, he goes down. I mean, there's a couple of players on low HP here, so damage could be dealt to the Pro 100 team, and Chocomix have recovered themselves the UMP. That's a not insignificant weapon in a full gun round, so Chocomix, I think, scoring a little bit. They would have loved to get the AK, but unfortunately that's not possible, so...
So there's another round win. Pro 100 looking pretty good on the T side so far, but they will be facing the full buy now, and therefore the full might of the economy of Chocomix that's finally come back into this game after those saves. We should probably see an AWP come out. Actually, not yet. Okay, no AWP. So going for the rifles plus the utility. Let's see what they're able to do with it. Is Chocomix 8-10. And interestingly, Def hanging on to the Mac 10, so he's hoping to find some players without helmets, and as it turns out, he might be right. There's 4 of them.
Yeah, so not too bad of a buy. He's going to get up close. First of all, with one of them, he does in fact get that kill. Tedesy goes down, not expecting the players to just come flying through the smoke. And Pro 100, well, they've got the opposite to the B rush. Straight A rush as oh, bad communication there as Sick both gives away his position and does some damage to Biron. Kenzo just crab walking through the smoke, feeding his life away there.
Seems legit.
And yeah, does seem very, very legit. As Chocomix fairly quick on the rotations. I mean, that might actually be a problem, the fact that they rotate that quickly.
So it's almost an opposite to what Pro 100 are doing. The extremely slow rotations. Chocomix are very willing to run all over the map if they have the slightest hint of information.
Yeah. I mean, has worked them, well, you know, set them up in pretty good stead thus far.
3 players here waiting on A site as well. That could be a masterstroke.
Scott Sterling has to hit at least 1 kill. Not going to happen. Still flashed. But Specs and Biron more than up to the task is Sick. That's enough damage for Biron to go down there, and it's now all a 1v2 for Sick. Does he get the first kill? He does not. Krushy picks him up. So Pro 100, their T side looking just as good as Chocomix's, and Chocomix E side has not looked great thus far, and Pro 100 does feel like they're on a bit of a roll at this moment. Chocomix doesn't really seem to be hitting any shots.
That is what you'll find with a more puggy team, though. They'll tend to be better on T side because they get to be aggro, choose the fights, and they can work together in that way because it's kind of clear what the objective is. CT side, it requires a lot more experience and having worked together to know what your teammates are going to do, how they're going to support you, where you need to be to support them. It's just immeasurably tougher, and it's kind of counter to what people may think from playing matchmaking.
Even getting tough Biron. Some good tapping there as picks up his second. Chocomix 3v5. Players do have armor and there is a kit available. Specs once again on that USP. So Chocomix really just looking to do damage here. There's no way in hope that they actually think they can win the round. Pro 100. Just playing slowly, obviously don't want to get themselves into bad situations where they're taking duels at close range with these fairly OP pistols. There's Chocomix all up to Specs, and I think if he had anything other than a USP, he'd be in a much better situation as these two players do push down.
Oh, there is going to be an engagement here towards long any second now. Just depends. Again, bleeding the time down, and he's facing into the corner, gets taken down easily by Flerich there. And that's unfortunate, expecting some form of flash, and doing probably the right thing, actually. It just always looks stupid when it doesn't come off.
Yeah, especially because he turned, and then about a second later, Flerich walked around the corner and shot him. So, I mean, he waited there for a good long while, and then right at the last minute was caught out. So, Kenzo, does he get caught out here by the two players in the party? Gets the first one. I don't think he suspects that Sick is this close. Sick will actually get the kill on him. That is an AK, so it could be dangerous, but Krushy is on hand to neutralize that danger.
12-8, Pro 100, opening up a little bit of a gap, and considering the first half they had, you wouldn't have expected this. For Chocomix, definitely not showing the strength on CT side that we saw out of them on their T side, and going for the double AWP as well, so going all in here. They are betting men, I guess. They play poker.
That they do. It's Scott Sterling and Tedesy now. Tedesy's done pretty well with the AWP. Scott Sterling I haven't seen a whole lot out of. 6 and 14 at the moment, so if Tedesy does land the...
Well, he lands it and walks in, does Avon. I thought he was going to get that kill. Does not as much damage as I'd expect, and is going to get smoked out. I thought they were going to accelerate off that if they got that kill, but clearly that was the plan. Didn't happen.
Pro 100 got boosts of their own. Does Chocomix... Well, they get the trade, but it does favor Pro 100 here, as both teams showcasing a propensity for boosts. I mean, they do call it boost pass for a reason, but both these teams are abusing that quite a bit.
Minute on the clock, and Pro 100 taking their sweet time. They would have played it quicker had they gotten the early pick there, but as mentioned, the feature of their play style is to be incredibly patient. And here they go. Slightly different timing, which I think is going to catch off Chocomix nicely there. Baron goes down. And they do have the bomb site in their hands. And the rotation will be coming in. Wow, running in does Ted as he gets himself 2 with the AWP. Stops the plant. 35 seconds now, 2v2. They should get the plant down, but geez, it's going to be dicey.
But they have no utility to actually hold this off. So Pro 100 have to hit their shots. If they don't, they could be in serious trouble here as Chocomix do move in. One AWP does Chocomix, and he will go down instantaneously as it's now all up to Sick. The long rotation from Pro 100. Unfortunately, Chocomix isn't aware of this, so Crushy should be looking pretty good.
And he is.
Crushy with the perfect timing.
Works out really nicely there, but could have gotten super dicey. I kind of back Chocomix in that to win it, considering how little time Pro 100 had. As you mentioned, they didn't have the utility, but Chocomix not able to close it out. And Pro 100 now in a pretty enviable situation. 13-8, they've got all the money. They've got a 5-round buffer, and Chocomix have got pretty much nothing. They're on the 4th spot.
Yep, Chocomix is in dire straits at this point. Not a whole lot of anything as they have to use substandard ingredients, and unfortunately, Pro 100's deaf.
Have you been watching MasterChef or something? Substandard ingredients?
I mean, Chocomix. Gonna make a proper chocolate cake, you better use the right damn ingredients.
Look at this guy.
Here on, fortunately, he's gonna get caught out there. Specs gonna catch himself the first player, and Crushy returns the favor very, very quickly here as Chocomix, I mean, all likelihood go down 9 or 8 to 14 as Pro 100 have shown a miraculous recovery from 1 to 7.
Quite right about it being miraculous. And it's interesting to me watching Avon. Geez, he must have crazily high mouse sensitivity the way he's moving around.
Yeah, it certainly does seem as though he is one of those twitchy players that has mad aim.
Indeed, he was very good with the AWP in the first half and bringing them back into it.
Yeah, I mean, interesting. Most AWPers tend to have lower sense to allow them, you know, to hit flicks relatively easily, or more consistently. Let's put it that way.
It's for the precision, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, his aim is very, very high. Or his sense is seemingly very, very high, much like someone like Draken or Michael almost, you could say.
Ooh, all the nip AWPers, eh? High sense. Flickety flick can't hit the shots on the angle, huh?
No, I mean, Michael could hit shots. He just tended to re-peek about 15 million times and then give his position away.
I think that's a good idea. Re-peek until somebody dies.
Yeah.
It's an all-action style.
Yeah, Draken's more the can't hit anything inside a 30-degree angle. Anything outside that will hit unerringly in the face constantly.
Yeah, for Chocomix, they're going to need to hit everything in the face constantly for the next few rounds. They don't have many left to play with. Yeah,
I mean, since that 7-round streak, they have actually gone 1-13 against Pro 100, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite worrying, I think, if you're Chocomix, as they were looking really good. Pro 100 now have taken over that role. They're looking really good. And, well, only 2 away from taking a 16-8 victory, potentially at Chocomix needing to do something. They haven't gotten a single CT round yet.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the Swedish and Israeli mix. I mean, Israel's not the most well-known of esports countries. They do obviously have one of the most successful Dota players of all time in Fly, Tal Isaac. So, not without precedent in terms of success, but certainly not a whole lot of players, as Specs will get caught as he rotates out there. Kenzo gonna spray through the wood. Does he get the damage? He actually ends up taking a hell of a lot more than Specs does there. So, Pro 100 still looking for something to happen here. It looks like they're going to be making their play towards B, as they do all get into position. Flarich holds the lowers area, but Chocomix has only 2 players on the side. So if the shots come through, Pro 100 could be in businesses. Does look like the execute is about to start, and Chocomix, unfortunately, with the push, they are going to be late on the rotate. Only one player is going to be able to add in. Scott Serling gets jumped over there by Flarich, but it's far too little, as Chocomix does not have control of the site, and Pro 100 should be getting the bomb down.
Yeah, not much of a defense in place to counter them, and Chocomix playing off very limited information as well. So
Comics
bomb.
does still have utility though, so it's possible, and they got 2 kits.
Oh, the boost has been spotted.
Yeah, it's too many boosts. I think like Chocomix has just become. It almost seems like a very very gimmicky playstyle, just trying to boost like these funny boosts the whole time. We'll get the first one. Scott Sterling pushes in now. If they don't know where Def is, so this could be the Ultra 200 IQ play. Does he push in? He's got to hit the shot. He gets the first one. He's going to have to stay alive as long as he can. Doesn't get that. Scott Sterling with the kit. More than enough time.
I did enjoy the world's most obvious fake flash thing.
Yeah,
Just
that
throw your
was-
pistol up.
That seemed completely reasonable.
Might have worked, I guess, if the pistol wasn't bright red.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if players are going to notice the color, but they certainly will notice the movement, and that's really what you want.
Yeah, well, some movement on the scoreboard here for Chocomix. They finally get their first CT round, and it is in a retake, and it's only with 1 player left alive, so Money will be under some pressure because of that. Pro 100 got an opportunity, but Buron there taking his opportunity, takes Kenzo down, and they're getting a boost.
Yep. I don't know, for me it's just felt very, very gimmicky from Chocomix, the way they...
Ooh, jeez.
Yeah, Tedesy giving Claridge one too many opportunities to hit a dirty shot, and duly obliged.
Very nicely done, and Tedesy, I think, very ill-advised jumps around there. Buron is going to get the trade though, and he's had a pretty good round so far. Unfortunately, Crushy's already found himself into the site, and he's going to cut off the rotation as well as the fallback from Buron, and that's the site in their hands.
That should be the round as well.
Teammates are
of
quite far
utility.
away though.
Yeah, but I mean, look how much utility Pro 100 has. So long as Crushy doesn't instantly die, I think they're in a pretty solid spot. Molotov comes through, that locks off the bank. They've already locked off the dumpster. And I mean, they've still got another molly, they got another smoke, 3 flashes. Yeah, this should be well within their capabilities. Crushy is going to spot, he's going to get himself a kill onto Sick there, and it's all up to Scott Sterling. Can the man that blocks soccer balls with his face, footballs with his face, pull off a 1v3?
Or will he block a bullet with his face?
I think he will block a bullet.
Or he might just save. I think he would be best advised to hightail it out of there, and he's going to be duly obliging on that front. So 15-9, it's going to be map and match point in this best of 1, and for... Ooh, didn't get away. Avon takes him down, so that's not going to happen, but plenty of opportunity here for Pro 100 to close this out, and, well, not many opportunities for Chocomix considering they don't have a whole lot to work with. And while we're in the last round, let's have a look at the scoreboard. Crushy there at 24, Avon on 24 as well.
Yeah, Crushy, I think, has probably been the best player. Avon's looked very, very good when he's been hitting shots, but I mean, given the nature of the AWP and his extremely high sense, I think he probably leaves a couple of kills on the table despite hitting some that he shouldn't have any business getting. As Crushy has also done a very good job at playing like a very aggressive lurk and actually opening bomb sites as a result. Kenzo will go down though, Sick getting the kill there. As Chocomix open it up. First,
ring around the rosies.
And Def, like he must know.
What?
Specs with a close range special does get himself Def, but the 2 kills are returned, and Chocomix is in position to take this fight if they want to, but they're going to have to run through smoke. As Pro 100 is setting things up, they got a player at the sandbags. Boost should be coming through.
And there's the fire kill as well. The last 2 players on very low HP. And it's going to be very difficult for them to be able to do anything here. Poking around towards short. They've recovered 1 gun. Oof, 2 HP. Almost feel like it's got to be over, and it is. Crushy will crush their hopes and dreams. Takes them both. And that's the game there for Pro 100.
Yep, Crushy ending the series as the top fragger. Close to 30 frags there, and very, very well played by Pro 100. I mean, I thought at 7-1 down that they had absolutely no way of winning this game, but it seems as though Chocomix just falling apart. But Pro 100 certainly doing a hell of a lot of good work there, especially on their T side.
Indeed, so some good work overall. I think we're going to go straight into the next game because we've pretty much used up the time. That game went quite a bit longer than I was expecting, I guess, because they started quite late. So let's see. We'll just jump in the server here. If, of course, there isn't a full bouquet of players available to us, we may just take a quick break. But let's jump in the server and see where they are.
Indeed.
And of course, thank you guys for joining us. Of course, ESEA Main Europe, and so far been pretty entertaining. I've actually been enjoying tonight quite a bit, and again, I'm operating on a loaned laptop from MSI, and I'm still kind of glad that it's still working. It's pretty hot and under the touch. I don't think laptops are made for this kind of thing, but I'm kind of bemused that this works, because this wouldn't have worked a couple of years ago.
No. I mean, I still remember using an Aura 6.7 back in the day. That thing cooked. You could fry an egg on top of that thing, so really is surprising that your MSI is working that well.
Not even a top spec either. It's just a 1050 Ti in here and an i7, so I guess you can go crazier, although if it's bigger, it probably requires some form of nuclear power generation to actually make the thing work.
At which point, is it really a laptop?
Yeah, you're probably right about that one. So we don't have a full server yet, so I think what we'll do is we'll just take a couple minutes. I reckon I'll give us a 3-minute timer. We can quickly do a splash and dash, or whatever we need to do, get some water, and we'll see you guys in a couple minutes.
Cool.
It's cold outside, but I'm not worried for tonight. I shut my eyes and I'm alright. And if I fall, you'll catch me. They're waiting now for me to stand and make them proud. I know I'll make it through somehow when I have you to guide me. And now I see I am an unsurrounded. I am the silence in the world. Just a figure in the dark. Is this become before the storm? If I fall, you'll catch me. Push me back up on my feet. Be the strength inside of me. A burning fire that you feed. And I didn't know, it wasn't clear to me before, the gravity of what you are. You see the good inside of me, even when I cannot believe. I see it all through you. You're right. No uncertainty. This is exactly what I need. It made me lose its sleep, but at least now I see. I am unsurrounded. I am the silence in the roar. Just a figure in the dark. Is this become before the storm? If I fall, you'll catch me. Push me back up on my feet. Be the strength inside of me. A burning fire like you. I brushed it off, pushed it aside, but I was looking for you. I'm always looking for you. I brushed it off, pushed it aside, but I couldn't help. I was looking for you. Yeah, I was looking for you. I am unsurrounded. I am the silence in the roar. Just a figure in the dark. As if coming for the storm. If I fall, you'll catch me. Push me back up on my feet. Be the strength inside. to help you cope. Take me away from this place, something to slow the pace. Tell me why you cannot see. It's not my fault to pull your finger at me. Now it's time to be. You're not the one for me. Why you keep pushing me away? Need something to numb the pain.
So we're back, and what you can see is that Momentum Esports haven't shown up. Unfortunately. So I think we're in the situation where we might have to call this one. What do you think, Mr. Prof? Ooh, Mr. Prof, do I have him? Let's see. My audio is not working. Okay, there we go. It seems like his mic is muted, so...
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Weirdly. Apologies for that, guys. Looks like we're not going to have the game after all. Dark Passage is here. Momentum Esports for the second time standing us up, so I just don't think we'll cover them again.
Yeah.
Basically, fuck them. It's really what it comes down to, no? Because they ain't here.
Well, I mean, I don't know what's up with them, but clearly they happy to give away games. I mean, I don't know if this is the same team that like the day before the last match had like 2 players just up and leave the team.
That's very possible. We're quite careful here to make sure that the people that we cover have actually confirmed in the ESEA chat that they are playing, and it was all confirmed. So very recently, in fact. So I guess it's just poor form here, and Dark Passage using it as a bit of air strafing practice, it seems. So for us, unfortunately, because it went so late, the other games had already started. It's really not worth jumping into a game that's already 6 or 7 rounds down. So apologies if you've been sticking around to catch this game. I really wanted to watch Dark Passage because they looked really impressive the last time we saw them. But it ain't going to be. It just wasn't meant to be, guys.
Nope. It's not me, it's you.
Indeed.
As she usually says.
Indeed. I don't know why that always happens to me. Us. You. Anyway, this has been ESEA Main Europe that we've been covering. You can go watch the VOD if you didn't see the first few maps that happened. Pro 100 coming back from quite a deficit to actually take the map in the end on Overpass. And we also had Team Endpoint and Euronics, I think it was, yes?
Yes, Euronics Gaming, Esports. No, Gaming, ESG.
Indeed, so that's what happened earlier on, and that was on Nuke as well. You can go back and check that out. And this has, of course, all been coming to your laptop, which is really hot now, and I'm going to cook some things on it, I think. So thanks for watching with us, guys. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll come back at you for the, probably more nights this week, probably do some bravado stuff at the early hours of the morning because we're completely stupid and crazy. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Cheers.